VYM versus SPHD. Which ETF is better? That's what we're going to find out in today's video. But before we do that, if you're new here and you never see my channel, my name's Elliot and I upload videos about investing, the stock market, and I do updates on my own portfolio, which is on the Robinhood app. So if that's something you enjoy, give this video a like, subscribe, and let's jump right into it. So my phone should be coming up right about now. And VYM is the Vanguard High Dividend Yield ETF. It tracks the performance of the FTSE High Dividend Index. This index invests in stocks that have higher than average dividend yields. SPHD is the Invesco S&P 500 High Dividend Low Volatility ETF. This index consists of stocks from the S&P 500 that have historically provided high dividend yields and lower volatility compared to other stocks in the S&P 500. Looking down at my phone, you can see VYM was launched on 11/10/2006. SPHD was launched on 10/18/2012. Next up is expense ratios, which when you're comparing these two ETFs, this is something that definitely sticks out. VYM has an expense ratio of 0.06%. SPHD has an expense ratio of 0.30%. And just remember, when it comes to expense ratios, you want to try to keep those as low as possible. Looking at the total return chart for the 6 months, VYM is up 19.92%. SPHD is up 17.66%. Year to date, VYM is up 8.58%. SPHD is up 5.29%. 1 year, VYM is up 20.85%. SPHD is up 9.96%. 3 year, VYM is up 30.10%. SPHD is up 15.88%. The 5-year chart, VYM is up 63.19%. SPHD is up 28.18%. Dividends. For the dividend yield, VYM has a 2.82%. SPHD has a 4.27%. So SPHD does have a little bit higher of a dividend yield. 4-year average yield, VYM is 3.09%. SPHD is 4.30%. Dividend rate, VYM $3.42. SPHD $1.90. Dividend growth for 3 years, VYM 4.33%. SPHD 1.67%. Dividend growth for 5 years, VYM 5.22%. SPHD 2.56%. Years of dividend growth, VYM 13 years, SPHD 2 years. And one major difference between these two ETFs is how they pay their dividend. VYM pays a quarterly dividend and SPHD pays a monthly dividend, which it is kind of hard to find an ETF or a stock that pays a monthly dividend. So that's something that definitely sticks out between these two. Concentration and risk. Number of holdings. VYM has 454 holdings. SPHD has 52. Assets in the top 10. VYM 26.25%. SPHD 26.20%. Turnover. VYM 6%. SPHD 67%. So a few similarities between these two ETFs is both are focused on dividend yields and both are great for investors seeking income in the form of dividends. A few differences between these two ETFs would be expense ratios. VYM has an expense ratio of 0.06%, while SPHD has an expense ratio of 0.30%. So SPHD does cost a lot more to own. Another difference is how they pay their dividends. VYM pays a quarterly dividend, while SPHD pays a monthly dividend. VYM is more diversified with 454 holdings compared to SPHD's 52 holdings. And lastly, VYM has a better track record with dividends and growth. So which ETF is better? I like VYM better because it has a lower expense ratio of 0.06% compared to SPHD's 0.30%. It offers more diversification with 454 holdings compared to SPHD's 52 holdings. And lastly, it has a much better track record with growth and dividends. So if you found this video helpful, please take the time to give it a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments below. Do you own either one of these two ETFs? And what's your thoughts on them? And we'll see you next time.